Alright, we're going to demo some basic brushing and even some spudging glaze techniques today. I have a few different types of glazes here. And what I'm going to do is, after shaking your glaze up, make sure you shake it up. And this is the part you're going to have to be really careful about. I don't want you to actually dip your brush directly into the glaze and paint, okay, because sometimes there's leftover stuff on your brush and different things are happening, and I don't want it to contaminate your glaze. So making sure you have a clean cup, and you can always pour more glaze, so don't overglaze. That's probably more than I need because I'm just doing a demo. The other thing too is the top of your glaze is going to get really crudzo, so you want to make sure that you wipe it with a clean wet sponge or paper towel before closing it again. And you don't want the glazes to dry out because we just kind of talked about that in class. So the best types of brushes, it's an art room, we have an assortment of brushes, you can use anything really, but there's these bamboo brushes which are natural. Those actually hold the glaze best, and we have some different sizes, but I would use one of those if you can find one. If you can't, it's not a big deal. So you're going to glaze a bisque-fired piece, okay? And you're going to sop up your brush with some glaze, and you're just going to, it's more like a coating, okay? It's not painting per se, it's more like you're coating, okay? And you're going to coat two layers of glaze. Try to be as even as possible with your coats. You want to make sure that the glaze dries in between coats, and glaze will dry pretty quickly, okay, because this is real dry and it'll suck into that pretty quickly. Making a mess here, but that's okay. So this is just a demo piece, so you want to make sure you get enough glaze on your brush so that you can do this as evenly as possible. This is obviously a piece that's been cut in half for demonstration, for throwing on the wheel. But if this were a whole cylinder, okay, and I wanted to paint the inside of it, actually the best way to paint the inside, because you have some pinch pots and coil pots and things like that, would it be pour a little glaze in it and just coat it and rotate it around. And then you only need to do that once. You don't need to do 2 layers of brushing. So that would be one way to do that. Now I'm going to demo another thing that you can do. We have these natural sponges. This is kind of a natural theme, natural bamboo, natural brushes here. Taking another maybe little lid here. Just going to just a little smidge here. This is a gray elephant hide. It's actually kind of a nice semi-matte color. And I used another area of my sponge to kind of go over that. Making sure the sponge is clean, of course. I can sponge this color, and see I did just a very little bit amount, because maybe after that's dry I can sponge over it and maybe get some experimental kind of effects. But if I were to sponge that just on here, this is going to obviously have a different effect. It's not going to be as coated and glossy as this layer, but this might be something you want to do over a layer of glaze that's already dried, to create some different sort of effects. Glaze may mix and do some crazy things together, but it might be fun to experiment. And if you are very careful and do, use these sorts of things like this, you can experiment. You can mix glazes if you want. I would just write down what you do in your sketchbook, and we will never pour this back in here. Okay, now glaze is kind of expensive. I mean, I would say this one's maybe $8 to $10, just this. So I was very wasteful. I didn't need that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually finish glazing this so that I use this up. or maybe someone else wants to use the dark green later on. So those are just some basic techniques: brushing, pouring to coat the inside, and sponging. Thank you.